Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the Warchanter for the Orruk Warclans and the Weirdnob Shaman. Weirdnob Shaman. I hate when they do weird names like that. But so I figure, because there's not a lot to talk about with just these two, I figure it'd be just better to just put them together. So, because their kits are pretty simple. So let's start off with the Warchanter. So he's got the move of 4, like most of them. Wounds of 6, so he's kind of tough. Save 4 up. Bravery of 8, so not bad. He's got the Gork Stick and Mork Stick. Range of 1, 6 attacks, 3 up, 3 up. No rend. Damages D3 apiece. Let's see here. Violent Fury. In your hero phase, you can pick one friendly Iron Jaws unit wholly within 15 inches of this unit. Until your next hero phase, add 1 to the damage inflicted by attacks made with melee weapons by that unit. A unit cannot benefit from this ability more than once per phase. So that's pretty good. Just a good little ability there. War Beats. When you pick this unit to be part of your army, you can pick one of the following war beats for it to know and write it on your army roster. The unit can only attempt the war beat that it knows. When this unit attempts its war beat, roll a dice on 3 up. The attempt is successful. The unit cannot attempt a war beat that has been attempted by another friendly unit in the same turn. So if you have multiples of these guys, you have to pick different war beats, is what that means. The first one is Fix and Beat. This war beat can be attempted in your hero phase. If the attempt is successful, pick one friendly model within 12 inches of this and heal up to D3 wounds allocated to the model, so you can heal people. Get 'em beat. At the start of your charge phase, if the attempt is successful, pick one friendly Iron Jaws unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit. In that charge phase, you can attempt to charge with that friendly Iron Jaws unit if it is within 18 inches instead of 12. In addition, roll 3d6 instead of 2d6 when making the charge roll. So, get a larger charge out of that. And then kill a beat. Start combat phase. If the attempt is successful, pick one enemy unit within 12 inches of this unit. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target that enemy unit. So yeah. If you do this right, you can, if you have 2 of them, you can charge your guys in a little bit easier, and then during the combat phase, you can make them hit a little bit harder, essentially. So it's pretty good. Double that with what they can do with the our boys to help them heal a little bit more, and they're not bad, little heroes. Let's see, keywords. Warchanter, hero. It's too bad that it's not a priest, though. That would have been handy. Point-wise, he is 115 points, so he's a little bit of a pricey guy. But at the same time, 115 points for a hero is not terrible either. So let's take a look at the kit real quick. So there's not much to see here. 2 small little frames. You got your head piece, your 2 chest pieces, little decorations, some spikes for the back, some more spikes for the back. Hip plates. There's the torso. Knife for the back. It's pretty open for such a small frame. And it's strange that it's not one big frame that you snap. It's 2 completely separate. It almost makes me feel like they were planning on doing more, or a variation for this kit, but I don't know. Could be completely wrong. Probably am. You got your 2 beaters, just bone little bone pieces there. You got your torso and your back plate. So nothing too spectacular here. One of the things that I've never liked about this kit and the Shaman kit is the fact that they have a lot of character. Well, the problem with a lot of these little character frames, little hero frames, is while they're generic heroes, like if you get more than one of them, they're just identical to each other, and it's like I wish they would have gone with the. If you remember from Warhammer Fantasy, like they had a war boss kit which had a ton of options and 2 different war bosses. I wish they would have gone that route. I know it would have made the kit more expensive, but at the same time, they would have sold more because more people would want to buy more for variation's sake than just, it's the same kit again and again and again and again. So yeah, there's that. Now the Shaman, we'll look at the spells, or all the generic spells on a later time. Move of 4, save 5 up, bravery 6 up, wounds 6. So he's decent. The Wog Staff, range of 1 inch, 3 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, rend of 1, damage 3 apiece. So not very fighty. He's a wizard, and he can cast 1 spell in your hero phase and attempt to unbind 1 spell in an enemy hero phase. And being he's the only shaman or wizard in Ironjaws, it's kind of sucks. It's like I wish there was one more, like one on a Gore Grunto or one on a Maw Crusher, or a named character. Give me one more shaman and I would have been happy. Alright, brutal power. If this unit is within 12 inches of 10 or more friendly Ironjaws models, at the end of your hero phase, you can attempt to cast Green Puke spell in addition to any other spells it can cast. And even if a wizard has already attempted to cast the Green Puke spell in that hero phase. So yeah, there's that. And then Green Puke spell, which I hate. It's like he used to have this really good spell of, it was like Stomp of Gork or something like that, Foot of Gork. I think you could pick it now, but it used to be just a generic spell on him, because I'm pretty sure he had 2 spells 1 or 2 editions ago, and it was like you do X amount of damage to a unit, roll a dice, and if you get this, then you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again, and it made it so like, well, if there's only one shaman, at least he's a boss. But now it's just this. So, Green Puke is a spell that has a casting value of 6 and a range of 2d6. So not a very long range, anywhere from 2 to 12 inches from it. If successfully cast, pick 1 point on the battlefield within range and invisible to the caster. Draw a straight line between that point and the closest point on the caster's base. Each unit that has models passed across this line suffers D3 mortal wounds. So, there's so many problems with this. Because one, it says each unit, not each enemy unit. So, if you're trying to cast this from behind your own troops, you're going to be damaging your own units. It's not each model, it's each unit. So, chances of you getting a long range attack with it and having multiple small units in that long range without hitting your own guys is very unlikely. And also, because it only has a maximum of 12-inch range, you're going to have to get in close. And this is not a very tough wizard, so you don't want to get in close. I think at best it works good for a defense strategy, but really, you should be running with this dude and not fighting. He needs to stay away from the enemy troops. They're gonna mess him up pretty bad. So yeah, Green Puke spell I think is a total failure. The fact that the model is just the one monopose kit is also kind of a bummer. And the fact that he's the only shaman for the Ironjaws themselves is also a bummer. So I can't sit here and say it's a great option for you, but it is your only option, so you're kind of stuck. So, and it sucks the way that they did the rules. We'll go into the main rules for Orruk Warclans at another time, but it sucks because it is the way they do it is with the Iron Jaws. You can only really pick Iron Jaws for it, unless you go to Big Wog, but then you lose all the Iron Jaws fun. So it's like you can't even ally in a shaman or two from Bone Splitters, for example, because they've got some great wizard options over there. Or even Cruel Boys have some pretty decent wizards over there. I would love to have an Iron Jaws list with... I can't remember his name. Dude on the Buzzard. Shaman on the Buzzard from Cruel Boys. I would love to have him in my list. I think that would be fun. But anyway, let's take a look at the kit. So you get the body here. Looks okay. You got arm there with part of the mouth and tongue. Here's his staff with the smoke coming out and the skull that goes on top of it. He's in a weird pose too. That's another thing I've never been a huge fan of, because he's all like spindly and then you got your dagger here. There's a chest piece. There's parts of the cloak. There's the cloak with the head. There's some fingers you have to glue on, and then the headpiece. So yeah. As far as these guys go, we'll get them together and we'll take a look at them assembled at least. They're good kits for what they are, but I wish we had more options with it. With the Iron Jaws, it's just, we're so limited with these two options for Warchanter and Shaman. I wish we had a second Shaman. I wish we had different build options for the Warchanter. It really limits it, and I also wish the Warchanter had a priest ability, so he could do some prayers or something like that too. If you had that in there, then he could be a tank. And I know at one point he did have that. I think it was in the last edition where he was both a hero and a priest, so he was able to do he was the Warchanter, so he did the Warchanter stuff, and he was also able to do generic prayers. I think that was somewhere in between, actually, before they got the new edition of Orruks, but when the new edition of Sigmar came out, Volume 3, so it was like this bubble of like a month or so where he actually ended up being a tank. And it would wreak havoc. And then all of a sudden, because he's able to do command abilities, he's able to be a priest, he's able to do his Warchanter abilities. They took it all away. And it's like, dang it! We had a good thing going there for a minute. But I don't think that was ever their actual intention. It was just kind of a fluke. So I wish we had better options for these two kit-wise, because it's pretty much one and done, and that's all we get. So anyway, I'll get them together, and we'll take a look at them, and I guess that's it. Alright, and I believe this finishes up the models. Everything that I've recorded has been in out of order and disjointed, so excuse me if things don't flow very well. I've said that before, I think in the Our Boy video, but so anyway, I think this is going to be the last of the Iron Jaws videos, but this is actually going in the middle of a video, so I'm even more confused now. Anyway, so this is the Warchanter. So yeah, he's pretty cool. I really do like him. He looks pretty awesome. Got a lot of character to him. He definitely stands out. My issue is not actually with him, but it's with the idea of buying more than one, because they're all going to look the same essentially. Now there are conversion options for this guy, and I'll kind of point out what your options are. Like if you were to cut like the hands glue on here at the bottom of the wrap here. So if you were to cut just above the wrap and just get rid of the hands, then you can put regular brute weapons in there, and they fit pretty well. The problem with that is like he's supposed to have these two. It's like it's part of his character. So, it's one of those, like, you can replace them, but you shouldn't. The head is interchangeable with the brute heads, so that one's not a problem to switch out at all. And of course, you could go with the weapon or not with the weapon. And then these back spikes here, you could replace them with like just regular brute, like trophies and stuff like that. Change it up a little bit. So you can. I don't necessarily say I would recommend it. This piece here that just glues on, so that's something that you can move around. You can also take these teeth here off and put like a something like this right in the middle. So there's a few options there. There's not very many. It's pretty much, and they're all going to be, standing there outstretched like this. So it's just kind of like, there's not a lot of options. And I wish that the start collecting came with, like, what I think they should do with the start collectings from now on, I'll save that for another conversation. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I think he looks great. I like him. Speaking of other models I really like, here's the Shaman. And I think he looks fantastic. He looks very, character, it's got a lot of character to him. I keep saying character today. It seems to be my word of the day, but the problem is like the way like his arm is posed and the way his feet are posed. It's the same issue that I have with the Warchanter and the regular Mega Boss. Not even regular Mega Boss isn't as bad, but it's just like this is a one and done kit, and there's really not much you can do with him. Like, you can do a few things with the Warchanter, and the Mega Boss you can do a few things, with the using the Maw Crusher kit. So you got a few options there, but for the most part, the Shaman is pretty much a done deal. Now, what I am going to be doing, because I'm very much one of those people that like to have different models. And this is from the Cruel Boys list, or range. Here is a Swamp Calla Shaman. They're about the same size. Obviously he's different. But what sucks is that I couldn't use him, like actually use this character in the Iron Jaws list. But what I could do is make an account as Shaman, and as you can see, they're about the same size, so works for me. And the people I play with usually are pretty flexible with things like that. So as long as their big thing is as long as they have the same footprint. So yeah, I really like this kid. It's got a lot more character into it than this one does. But they both have the same problem, where it's like you have very limited options to alter them. I've tried doing things like cutting off the little trophy pieces and just doing straight cloak, but that still looks a little funky. So yeah, I guess that's really all I've got for them, for the Iron Jaws. And hopefully these videos are going over pretty well. By the time this, like I said, this should be the last video. By the time this goes out, I should have an idea on if this is going to be successful or not. Because it's like I don't want to talk to nobody. But I also didn't want to wait and see how one video would do. So I just did the whole range, essentially, for Iron Jaws all at once. So hopefully it's going well, and if it is, then perhaps we'll be looking at the Cruel Boys next, and then the Bone Splitters, and then finally the Big Wog. There won't be a lot to talk about with the big wog because it just reuses the same models. But we will take a look at that when we get there, if we get there. So we'll see what happens.